I'm really curious to dive more into some of the examples you've seen about flipping energy draining, different energy draining activities to energy giving activities. I think specifically you were mentioning earlier the status update type meeting. Do you have any stories or examples or practices you've seen from people specifically for like the status update meeting or the all hands meeting to make or transform those to be exquisite?
Certainly, from the all hands meeting, it's a really challenging one. But something that's really great there is to make them more of showcases of what's actually happening in the organization. That's a great one. If you have the same people up there every single week doing your all hands or every other week doing all hands, that's probably people are gonna tune out really quickly. But if it's other people in the organization presenting and showcasing what's happening, what's the real work that's getting done, people get really energized by that. Like they're in the company because they're excited, ideally because they're excited about the mission of what you're creating and for the community that's there. And being able to showcase those things really creates significant changes in terms of how people engage with that sort of a thing. In terms of like status meetings, those are challenging ones, right? Like there are things on the calendar which are things that are difficult to move through, that are part of the landscape. There's a little bit of like, hey, look, we do actually need to do status stuff. But if you turn that status meeting into let's bring any blockers that we have, and the role of this group is to check in on that and then help to move through any blockers that are there that the teams are unable to move through, that makes it more engaging. Then people are like, hey, look, this is an issue we're moving through. We have this partner who's like, we've been trying to figure out how to get past this, but this deal is currently stuck because of XYZ is coming up. Maybe the head of partnerships can say, you know what, like I can hop on the horn and help out and unblock this thing and help move this forward. And then it becomes a lot more engaging. It's like, okay, what's the status? You're not here just reporting out to it. We're here to support the team in terms of where they're trying to get to. And that can be more engaging as opposed to people just with their arms folded saying, tell me your status, right? Because that meeting, like, doesn't really need to happen, right? Like report the status somewhere else to set up the email with where we are, and then let's figure out how we can support the team.